Fear is the enemy.
Baggy City Music Box.
Whatever it is that you're going for, man, go hard. And hold on, never give up. You gotta have that mentality, man. I put in the work, I spent a lot of time on the waiting list. Never complained, I ain't never said shit. Shoot my shot, no fear if I miss. Imagine you chasing a dream that you love, only to find out it wasn't enough. You fall on your face, but you get right back up. And you fall back again, but you get right back up, yeah. That's the way that it's always been. Don't nobody care about the grind but you. Nobody putting in the time but you. Make up your mind, who you wanna be. I know who I am, know what I want. Live by 2 words, mama mentality. And that's word to my mom, word to my pops, word to my little bro. They said make your mistakes, but don't make excuses on why you can't live and learn. On a couple occasions I damn near went broke, I'm chasing this music thing. And I ran out of hope, I threw in the towel, said fuck the hole in the street. I kept on writing and touring. I picked up a job cause I knew it was important. The money I made, I would stash it away just to fund my recordings. And I didn't wanna stop cause I didn't know how. I would lay in my room by myself late at night and I finally figured it out. I just wanna be the best version of me, make all the music that I wanna make. I don't care what nobody gon' say. You miss all of the shots you don't take. And the answer is no, if you don't ask. If it gets hard, this too shall pass. God is my witness and he got the plan. He got the plan. I put in the work, I spent a lot of time on the waiting list. Never complained, I ain't never said shit. Shoot my shot, no fear if I miss. Imagine you chasing a dream that you love, only to find out it wasn't enough. You fall on your face, but you get right back up. And you fall back again, but you get right back up, yeah. That's the way that it's always been. Don't nobody care about the grind but you. Nobody putting in the time but you. Make up your mind, who you wanna be. I know who I am, know what I want. Live by 2 words, mama mentality. Yeah. Remember, man, you only in competition with yourself. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the process. Pleasure and pain. R.I.P. the greatest. 0824.
Let me know you're out there. Just say hello. Welcome to Circle Talk. Today we are here going into our mental health check for November. And I am excited to talk about the holidays. Obviously, everybody loves holiday season, you know, all the gifts and all the goodies and, you know, Thanksgiving dinners and, you know, all that good stuff. We're going to jump in and tap in with all the of y'all and share our thoughts and feelings about it. And some of the things that we can, you know, kind of try and work on when it comes time for the stresses of buying gifts, making sure that everyone is taken care of and accounted for during, you know, Thanksgiving months, as we lead into the holiday months, Black Fridays, all that stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. So first off, I just want to say thank you to all of my sponsors. Shout out to iShotTo.com. If you guys did not catch the podcast on Saturday, make sure you guys go and check out the conversation with my guy, Marvin Patterson, amazing guy. Has been around me for 20 plus years. We sat down and talked. So check that out. Icon ENT, thank you so much to Willie Jr. Thomas for continuing to be a part of this. The Chaya Fashion. Zakia, thank you for always doing your best in our community and allowing me to be a part of anything that you do. So thank you, sister. Last but not least, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to my girl, Intention Juice and Smoothie Bar. Let's go. My girl, Marquita Evans, is doing amazing things in our community, and not only here in Tacoma, but she has her grand opening November 11th out in Seattle. Her Seattle store is opening up. So if you're out in Seattle on November 11th, make sure you guys show up. I'll be out there. We'll be out there. We're going to party and celebrate another grand opening for her. Congratulations, sister. And I wish you all the best in your continued support and everything that you're doing. So let's get into it. I got a couple brothers here. I'm going to go ahead and pass it on and let them introduce themselves, and then we're going to get into the conversation. We're going to start off with the one next to me. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Let them know who you are.
How you doing? I'm Jay James from Chicago, Illinois, by way of Lacey, Washington. Grew up with my man to this side of me, or that side of me, right?
Yeah.
Good brother. Board member for Young Professionals of Seattle, founder of Access 2, where we effectively combine sporting events and career fairs together with a mission of removing the interview room from its traditional four walls and placing it where BIPOC community people of color thrive.
Absolutely. Well, welcome, Dre. I appreciate you for being a part of this today. All right, let's slide it on over to the brother that way on the end. You're muted.
All right. Glad to be here again. Kai Steplight. Been friends with Mr. Hayes here for many years. Grew up with the brother to the right? My brother, Dre James, director of Ole Basketball Academy, assistant director. Been on a lot of different podcasts. I've been in the community for a long time. I've worked with different organizations, such as the Black Panther, and a couple other local organizations. And just glad to be here, man, to continue to talk about some of the issues that are plaguing our community, man. And just try to, help those that need some advice and some guidance.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again, Kai, for continuing to be my friend and share your knowledge with us. One of my favorites, you know what I'm saying? If I didn't say that before, I'll say it now, man. You always been my guy, and I appreciate that. So today we're going to talk about holiday health. And when I think about the holidays, what I would like to do is have us just go back in time and just remember the times that we had with our families when we were younger. And just tell us a little bit about some of the things that you remember about being young and how either positive or how challenging it was during the holiday time in your guys' lives. Because I know for some of us, we went through life with everything that we always wanted and had and needed in our lives. And then some of us not necessarily had that. And so let's talk a little bit about that first, and then we'll get into it. We'll get back with Kai. He's been having some issues because he's driving. This brother's always driving. I love that dude, but he's always driving. So Dre, how about you tell us a little about your upbringing with your family and during the holiday season? How was it for you? Everything pretty smooth, or did you guys have any challenges along the way? What?
It was definitely memories to be had. As far as coming up with my family. I definitely grew up in a household that was, church oriented. Went to church on Sundays. What were the classes? Evangelistic 101, 102, 103. Yeah. We had children's church, choir practice,
Absolutely.
Children's choir practice, usher board. A lot of our movements revolved around church. So, I really felt a lot of our celebrations and holidays were centered around that as well. Whether it be Christmas, Easter, even just birthdays, family barbecues, most of the people that we hung out with or communed with, were from the church.
Right.
And, I had a mother that used to say, on Christmas, it's not your birthday, it's Jesus's birthday. So why you need gifts? It used to mess me up because what you supposed to say to that? Like, you're wrong, like,
Right.
And so, definitely Christmas for me was a little bit different. I got gifts sometimes, but I wouldn't say I got gifts every Christmas. We definitely had a Christmas tree up, but that Christmas tree was not too far from, I may be dating myself a little bit here, but I know most Black families had a trunk or an armoire in the house,
Yeah.
full of them dishes that
Yeah.
Mama didn't let you use unless it was Thanksgiving or a special occasion. Like, why we got dishes we can't touch?
Right. 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 Absolutely.
So yeah, that was definitely my experience. The prototypical Black household. Coming up in my day.
And let me ask you this really quick before we move over to Kai. But do you find yourself using some of the things that you learned as a child in your day to day now with your children when it comes holiday season time?
Well, I would say, and it may be a deeper conversation for the podcast, but I would definitely say that I do my best to. I don't want to say do the opposite, but I definitely, am impacted trauma-wise by the way I was brought up in my household with, with those specific holidays. Is even when Christmas rolls around, I have to like get myself up for it, and excite myself about it, because that excitement growing up, it really wasn't a part of my household. It's something because at New Year's we was at church, day before Christmas we was at church, and then so I kind of anticipated those things, and that's carried on with me into my adulthood. And so my wife always calls me, the Black Scrooge, because I always, some of those things carry over with me. I don't think to go buy a bunch of gifts. I don't think to go. It's more about being with my kids and being together on the holidays than the exchange of gifts. And
Absolutely.
And I don't want to take that magic away from my kids. When you think about it in retrospect, of what I went through versus what they're going through now. So it's one of the things I'm personally working on is, getting into the Christmas spirit.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Thanks. So what about you, Q? Do you feel like tell us a little bit about your upbringing? I mean, I know a little, but you can kind of share with the people. Tell us a little about the holiday season over at the Steplight House.
Man, so if I start, back in childhood, in my childhood, I would say that my family was relatively traditional as well. We celebrated Christmas. Having both parents there, working parents, and then me, my brother, and my sister. We never wanted for anything. For the most part, the things that we asked for, we got. We're very fortunate to have parents that cared and loved for us and worked hard, wanted to provide. And I think for me personally, a lot of things that I've learned and a lot of my family traditions, I practice in my own family. When Christmas and Thanksgiving comes around, it's important to be around family. It's important to express love, to your children, and kids love presents. I mean, kids think of Christmas as oh, man, we're going to get the PlayStation, we're going to get cars and games and different things, money. Yeah. So, we try to carry on that tradition, and we do celebrate Christmas. I would say some of the things that I've kind of instilled in my family, kind of outside of, my childhood, is really just focusing on giving thanks to being healthy and being here and being present. I talk to my kids and my family a lot about the importance of parenting and the importance of being present. Even though I don't have any kids, knock on wood right now, that are expecting any kids, that have any kids, thank God, they're still focusing on education and moving forward in life. But I still try to have those conversations with them as far as parenting. Especially around the holiday season, because you're around grandparents, you're around uncles and aunts, and you're seeing family, and you're getting a chance to see, how the family dynamic is. And so, that's always been something I've always tried to do around this time.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with a lot of the stuff that you were saying. I mean, obviously, when I think about obviously my upbringing in the holiday season, it's really interesting because Dre, I have a lot of similarities to yours. I mean, obviously, y'all know I was born and raised in the church. I went to the academy, so like I said before, 6 of the 7 days I was in the church, and on that seventh day was usually a day where we was talking about church, or watching TBN on TV or
Yep.
whatnot. So I mean, it was always a thing in my family with my mom's, but the holiday season was always a tough time for us because my pops was never really around, and my mom worked, but she didn't work. She didn't make a whole lot of money. So when it came time for the holidays, Thanksgiving, like you said, we was at church. Christmas time, we was at church. We was doing children's church. We was doing,
All of it.
working on our speeches for the program at the end of the Christmas season. Like, we did all of that. But when it came time for us to go home and do family time and celebrate these holidays, a lot of our celebration was, like you said, at the church. When we got home, we didn't have presents under the tree. There wasn't a whole lot of turkey, ham, all the fixings on Thanksgiving, because my mom just couldn't afford a lot of that stuff. But the one thing that my mom did was always practice talking to us about how important we are as a family, loving each other, caring for each other, spending that special time together amongst each other. For me, that was always an extremely important thing to me. Just hearing that from my mom. Waking up on Christmas Day and seeing no presents under the tree, but having stockings with apples, oranges, all the nuts that you can think of. And one of the things that my mom always did was leave a note in our stocking, just telling us that she would get us something, whatever date she got paid next, because we just didn't have it. We just didn't have it. But those little notes was something that I'll never, ever, ever forget. Even if she didn't necessarily have it on the day that she said she was going to have it, it was just the thought of her, going to those extremes to make sure that her kids knew that we know how important, Christmas is after seeing everybody else, outside playing with all their presents and enjoying all their goodies that they got on Christmas Day. And, we didn't have the same thing. So she just, instilled that into me. And then as I got older and had my own kids, one of the things that I always practiced doing was sharing these stories, so that they knew that, yeah, I mean, Dad's going to do his best to get you what you want. But, I always tell him the same thing. I was like, give me 3 things and I'll make sure you get at least one thing. I mean, I got 5 kids, so and in today's society, it's a lot more expensive than it was back then. So, I just try and pride myself in at least having one thing under the tree for each and every one of them, and that's really important, that they know how hard it was for us coming up, and that, just because Dad is in a different place and than their grandma was, we ain't changing because we got more money. We still want to be with each other, enjoy each other's company, and cherish the moments that we have together. And so that was a big thing for my family as well. Do you guys remember anything as far as any stresses watching your parents? I mean, obviously, even being in a place where, you have means. Do you remember them going through any stressful moments during the holiday that you guys can recall?
Can I touch on something that you said?
Yeah.
For a second. It's crazy, man, how you mentioned the letter that you received from your mother during Christmas is something that you'll never forget. But can you remember all the presents that you got during that time frame? What toys or games or anything?
I mean, only thing that I can remember, honestly, like on Christmas Day, I mean, I can't remember much. It's when and this is just me being honest, man. Like there was a lot of days, a lot of Christmases where there was nothing under the tree. Just having a tree was something at times, you know, just having a tree. You know,
I almost want to screenshot this, man, and show this to, you know, all the kids, because what you're saying is the presents that you got, man, had a time limit, but the letters that you received and the love from your mom is timeless.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Things that you'll never forget. And it's crazy because we ask, you know, kids ask for so many different things, and it's things that they want right away, but the memories that they're going to remember, the things that they're going to remember the most is that, you know, the effort. Your mom made an effort to try to make Christmas as special as it could be.
Absolutely.
And when you guys talk about growing up in the church, you know, I didn't grow up in the church. You know, I wasn't in church like that. My parents coming from New York, you know, originally from New York, and so back then a lot of the black folks from the East Coast, you know, were Catholic, you know, and they weren't all Christian. And so without going back into the history of it, but just, you know, things that I've learned is, you know, a lot of the blacks that migrated to New York were forced to go Catholic if they wanted to be free, supposedly, right? And so, from what I understand, that's why a lot of blacks in the East Coast were Catholic. So moving here, we didn't go to church. You know, we weren't in the church. But as I got older, and I started to learn kind of more about the church and Christianity and stuff like that.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people that grew up in the church, and a lot of the things that they talk about when they talk about kind of the holidays is the fact that they're around so many different people. The churches are packed during the holiday season. You know, everybody's there who might not come during the summer or might not come, you know, during the fall. They're there during the holiday season, and it's just a lot of people there just trying to celebrate at one time. And that's what I hear the most is the amount of support. So whether you can afford gifts or turkey, or you ain't got no food, when you're in the church, you got everything you need, you know. And that seems to be something that I've learned throughout the years, just with talking to people that have grown up in the church, is the amount of support that you receive when you're a part of a church family.
Would you say the same thing, Dre?
Look, my parents were slick, you know. I remember all them school clothes I got for Christmas. Pajama set that I got, you know. I didn't get, you know, I would say a lot of toys or, you know, a lot of things that I received as far as, I think I had a Nintendo, but I didn't get it for Christmas, you know.
Oh, really?
So, you know, I totally agree with that, but. To me, it was almost like, you know, growing up, church to my community was more of an element of survival than to go praise and worship.
Yeah.
So I really felt like my family used that as an element of survival, because we didn't. All of us, you know, whether my mom or my dad, came from a broken home. So that was the way they built their family, you know, was through the church. And that's really the only way they knew how to, you know, I would say. And so that's why a lot of our, you know, I'm not going to speak for everybody else, but a lot of my trauma comes from, you know, that regard. But yeah, I would say I would agree with Kai on some of those things, but yeah, no, that's the way I view it. Is you know, we definitely use church as an element of survival, you know, in our family, because we all came from broken past and broken relationships.
Man, it's crazy. That is so crazy that you guys are saying that, because it's, I don't know, man. I'm trying not to break down because, you know, I went through so much, and when I think about New Jerusalem Church of God in Christ, there was a lot of stress going there on Sundays a lot of times. But during the holiday, it was the best place in the world, because because I knew I was going to be loved. I knew I was going to be taken care of. I knew people were actually seeing our lives and seeing the things that we were going through on the day to day, like wearing hand-me-downs, going to church for school with holes in our clothes, and so many people just watched us. But always during the holiday season, they always made sure that we were good.
Yeah.
We did get toys on Christmas, because the amazing thing about the church that I went to was we'd have these programs where we'd learn these long speeches, to give thanks for, Jesus dying on the cross for us and stuff. And then after the programs was over, we'd go downstairs and they'd have all the food that you could eat, and they'd give a present to every single one of those kids every year. And that's one of the things that I definitely am truly thankful for, actually not running away, because there was a lot of times where I wanted to run away from that.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to get out of that, because my mom said, this is how you're supposed to be. This is what you're supposed to be doing. And a lot of it, I listened to, but at the same time, I'm like, man, I'm trying to go hang out with my boys, go play some basketball,
The game is on.
Game's on. I'm trying to get up out of here. But I mean, at the end of the day, man, holidays were always extremely stressful, but I do thank the church for giving me, faith and hope that there are, that is possible, that, even though we didn't have much, I knew that the people at the church would take care of us. There was a lot of times we barely even had a home. Like, my mom, she went through a lot. Yeah, I mean, y'all know. I mean, I'm not going to sit up here and pour it all out, because that's not what this is about. It's about trying to help those that are going through stressful moments at this time with the holidays coming up. Find some hope and faith, and realize that there are ways and methods to, deter this feeling of, I can't do it. There's plenty of avenues out here and places where you can go, where people will actually help you get the means for your children. If you need something for the holidays, there are a lot of people out here working to make sure that, you get presents under the tree, you get food on the table for Thanksgiving. A lot of this stuff is available. All you have to do is get off your seats, get on the internet, or you can call either one of us. I know of plenty of people that I can get in contact with that can help you. That's what this is about. This isn't about, telling you guys all these sad stories so that you feel bad for us. This is an opportunity for us to share our truth, so that in hopes that we can help somebody that's actually watching that could really use the help. So, I mean, yes, I went through some struggling times, but the struggling times made me a much stronger and well-rounded person, and why we're here today. That's why we're here today. So, for sure.
David, when you talk about the things that you've went through, same thing with you too, Dre. Man, what we're doing is we're giving other brothers a voice, because sometimes, just the people I speak with, they're so enclosed, man. Like they don't realize that there's forums like this and opportunities for us to talk.
Yeah. And
just getting our feelings out and getting the transition from those difficult times into where we're at now, man, it's helping a lot of people. I mean, it really
Absolutely.
is. It is. So don't ever feel like you're going too far deep into, share whatever you want to share, because it's helping people.
Yeah, I was talking to, before I got on with you guys, I apologize if I interrupted one of you.
You're good. You're good.
I was talking to a friend right before I got on. I had to hang up with her because I had to get this thing set up. And so, but we were talking for like an hour, and she was just telling me about, her losing her job, and, her dealing with 3 boys, and her boys rebelling at her and saying that they don't, think she's a good mom, and they're going to call CPS on her. And she's just begging for some support and some help. And I just told her, don't give up. I mean, don't give up. All you have to do is trust that as long as you are trying, you find yourself a job to to remind those boys that yes, we may not have all the things that you guys want, but mom loves you. Dad's not around, and that's not all my fault. Dad's not around, but I'm gonna be here. Wherever you need to get to, whatever you need in your life, I'm gonna do my best to try and support you through that. And I just try to talk to her and just tell her to have faith. If you're not a prayer, that's fine. But if you do pray about it. Just never give up. The kids, they're gonna rebel. Kids get like that when they don't get what they want. Sometimes they say things that they don't necessarily mean. But if you continue to tell them that you love them and you're gonna be there for them, that part will subside. Those feelings that they have at that moment when they said what they said, they will subside, and you guys will get back on the right path. You just have to just mend the storm, get through the storm, and eventually you'll find your way. Right now, you just got to just tell them you love them. as many times as they curse you out and they say they hate you, you say, well, I love you still. What are they going to say?
And there's one thing I got to let parents know that are listening to this is there is absolutely no instruction manual for any of this.
Nah.
Stop.
Say that again.
I'm the first to tell you that I don't got it. I am not going to get parenting until I'm laying in my grave.
Yeah.
Ongoing pursuit of knowledge, an ongoing learning process. I talked to somebody, not too long ago. I hope they're listening to this, but I made a comment that said, "Hey, I'm not friends with my kids. I'm friendly with my kids, but I'm always going to be 100% a parent because I want them to know that I don't got it. But I'm constantly going to be trying to get it. And so if you're in a space right now where you feel like you can't make it or you're not making it, trust me too. I don't care if I can put gifts under the tree or not, because every day is another day, and and it's going to constantly change. They're going to constantly evolve. The world that we lived in, is not the world that they're living in. So if you're not learning how to reteach yourself or teach your kids, because you can't be teaching them the same way you were taught, because they're going to look at you and all that information is going to go in one ear and right on out the other. I said it to Kai before. I could tell my kids the sky is blue until I'm blue in the face. There's a website online that'll convince them that it's pink. With analytical knowledge and data to back it up, and you can't even refute it because you don't got it. Parenting is a constant. It's a constant evolution of yourself. Is a constant evolution of information that you're giving to your kids. So, I don't think anybody as a parent can go online and find the perfect parenting advice, or the perfect parenting pamphlet. As long as you're willing to learn and grow, that's when you're on the right track. But I could never as a parent say, I got it, because my kids will come to me with something different every single day.
Hit you with the curveball.
Every single day. I think that's the misconception of parents thinking that just because they can't put gifts under the tree, that they're inadequate. No, there's parents that can put a bunch of the gifts under the tree, but can't connect with their own kids. And so that, to me, is more important, or just as important as giving the physical along with the mental as well. So that's all I had to say about that.
Absolutely. Did you want to say something, Q?
Dre, man, just that statement, there is no manual, there is no handbook on how to be a parent, man. Everybody parents differently. You know what I'm saying? And I've learned that even if you got multiple kids, each kid might need to be parented differently, because what works with, my 19-year-old doesn't work with my 18-year-old. What works with my 18-year-old doesn't work with my 15-year-old. And so just trying to figure out, which style works for each kid, man, can take a long time. And sometimes you never really get it. But, as long as you're trying, like you said, David, don't ever give up. As long as you're trying. And I think just kind of combining communication, because, the love part and providing things for them is one thing, but, always talking to them, man. you know, talk through some of the things that you're dealing with as a parent, you know what I'm saying? And just getting them to understand that, you know, it's a relationship, yes, you know, but I'm your parent, but you know, at the end of the day, I'm still trying to get to know you, because you're going to change, you're going to evolve from 15 to 18 to 22 to 30. You're going to evolve, and parenting is never going to stop, but I have to learn how to evolve with you as a parent. You know? Absolutely.
I think also another thing that you guys are both hitting the nail on the head when it comes to parenting. I think another thing that we have to do as parents, anyone that's watching, that I know it clear as day. I have 4 beautiful young women that are growing and telling me every day about the things that I'm doing wrong. Sometimes.
Hold on, say that again, brother. You got four girls?
I have 4 girls and a boy.
Ooh.
But I'm blessed. That's
Amen.
one thing I tell everybody. I'm blessed because, you know, my girls are all beautiful women, and they love their dad, and they're not afraid to admit it, you know, and they also hate their dad at times too, and they're not afraid to admit that. But I think us as parents, sometimes we just have to sometimes put down our guard and say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. And I think a lot of us are afraid to do that because, you know, they feel like we always got to be top dog when it comes to who runs this house. Sometimes we aren't always right. Sometimes we think we got it figured out. And like you said, we're learning. We're still learning until the day we leave this earth. We're learning how to be a parent. Sometimes it's those times when we realize that we made a mistake. That's when we need to put our guard down and just say, you know what, I was wrong. I do apologize. You know, I know it took me a lot to do that, guys. Trust me. I'm not even lying. You ask my girls, they say, hell yeah, dad don't never say I'm sorry. But that's not true because, you know, Dad has said sorry a lot of times for thinking that I have it figured out. But I'm flawed just like everybody else. And so we have to realize that when we do make mistakes, we have to admit. I mean, I think, you know, we have to relinquish the power, I think is a good way to put it, you know, because, you know, we think we're always mom and dad define mom and dad is always the power of the house, when sometimes we're not. Sometimes we got to relinquish that power and let them feel powerful at times, you know, that way that relationship can continue to grow. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think. I mean, how do you guys feel about that?
Oh, well, my daughter is the youngest of 4 boys, and all of us be looking at her like, look.
Power, huh?
Oh, man. Look, if I ever been humbled in my life, it's my little girl.
Yeah.
She is every bit of me.
Yeah.
Every bit of me that's the hardest thing in the world as a parent to catch some of those mannerisms or some of those smart remarks. And it's almost like they're holding up a mirror at you, you know, and you have to catch yourself, you know. And so, that is definitely the most humbling experience is having, you know, one of your kids end up just like you.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at your other kids like, why you don't get it, you know, you know. And so, it's like, as I mentioned before, it's a constant. It's a constant evolution. Is a constant learning curve for me because every day is different. Every single day is different, and it's hard. You know, it's hard for me to catch myself. You know, at times I'm better at it now than I used to be. You know, as a parent, but definitely not going to sit here and say no, I got it, because it's something that I have to hold that mirror up every single day and check myself with it, even with my kids there or not there. You know, so I'm learning to not react. You know, have a conversation with myself first. You know, that's the hardest thing in the world too. You know, before I go in this room, you know, and I saw that, I heard that from somebody. Wasn't that on the podcast we did, Kai, about somebody mentioned, you know, before I go in the room, I make sure I check my own facial expressions. I check how I approach.
Yeah.
I check, you know, I remember that, you know, and that's something that to me is powerful because I wasn't even thinking that my facial expressions could be impacting too as well, you know. And so, even how you approach a situation is very, very critical in the development of that relationship. So yeah, like I said, it's just every single angle. Like I said, it's constant. If you think you got it, you do not have it at all. I'm going to continue to learn from Kai. I'm going to continue to learn from you, brother. I may learn something from you, which I already have. You know,
And vice versa.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Facts. So really real quick, I wanted to I had a couple things that I looked up, just kind of bringing it back to the holiday health. I got holiday self-care tips that I'm gonna give real quick, and then I have one other one that I want to speak on, and then if you guys would like to touch on something, I know both of you guys have things you guys have to do in about 10 minutes, and so we can continue this conversation at a later date, or we can do it off camera, whatever you guys feel like doing. I know a lot of you guys are watching. I appreciate all you guys for watching. If you guys have any questions for either one of us three, please go ahead and drop those before we get out of here. I'm gonna go through these mental tips real quick, and then we'll close with our final remarks. So this is 10 mental health tips to beat the holiday blues. It says, learn to say no, number 1. Number 2, spend time with the people you enjoy. Something we all been saying. We've been saying that the whole time. Number 3, act responsibly. Number 4, do everything in moderation. Not bad. Number 5, maintain a healthy routine. I'm big about the healthy routines, man. Y'all know me. Number 6, don't overspend. Overspend what? Oh, number 7, don't isolate yourself. That's a big one. Number 8, avoid drama and conflict. Number 9, be practical. And number 10, identify your triggers. And these are 10 mental health tips to beat the holiday blues. And that's by mindjournal.com. And one more. I got one more. And then we'll speak a little bit on that. So holiday self-care tips. And this is just self-care stuff. Make space for messy feelings like grief. Make space for messy feelings like grief. Sorry about that. Number 2, get organized, make a plan, and try to stick to it. Number 3, give yourself permission to just let it be an average day. There's nothing wrong with having average days. Number 4, set realistic expectations for yourself and the holiday. So don't try and buy everybody Xbox One S, XL, MNOPs if you ain't got the money for all of those. Number 5, learn to say no without feeling guilty. Number 6, create your own holiday traditions. Absolutely. Number 7, keep your stress levels in check, step back, or delegate. And number 8, keep up with your self-care and make time to relax. And again, that's from mindjournal.com. And those are holiday self-care tips, if anybody was wondering. So,
well, I'm already failing at 2 of them. I have a plan every time I walk into Target with my daughter and her mother.
Yeah.
But you know, as of it today, it's $90 for a bag of toothpaste and some soap. And maybe a towel or 2. You know, I can't get up out of there without my plans, you know, being ruined after 10
Hey,
minutes.
did you guys even go shopping yet?
Look, man, like now my daughter, now I look at my wife evil every time. I want to go to the red store. And I just look at her like, this is what you did? This is what you're doing? All my plans out the window.
Oh, man.
He said just about 10 minutes ago, I'm a little nervous. I'm going to call her.
Oh, man. So, any final thoughts on holiday and healthcare for you guys? And either one of you guys can go if you want to say anything about it.
Go ahead, Kai.
For the holidays, You know, I would say these past 6 months, quite a few of my friends and just people that I associate with are dealing with a lot of deaths in the family. You know, just an astronomical amount of family members passing away back to back to back to back in the last 6 months. So I would say try to mend any broken relationships with family. You know what I'm saying? You know, we talk about, you know, life is short and it's not a lot of time. You know what I mean? Or your time is limited. You don't really know when your time is up. You don't know what could happen. You can go to the doctor and be diagnosed with something the next day. And I think it's time to start acting on that and really putting some action behind it. You know, we think about it, we say it, we tell people it sounds really good, but I think it's time to put action behind it and really start mending those relationships. All the gifts and all that kind of stuff, that's cool, but we need to use this time to start breaking those generational curses, man, and start really trying to bridge the gap between family.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great one.
I would say to remember that family is always it isn't always limited to blood.
Mm.
I'm gonna keep stressing this. Kai knows I brought this up before, but we've gotten away as a culture from building extended families. Um, you know, we don't have the cousins and the aunts and the grandmothers. You know, our grandmothers are passing away earlier now due to health conditions. You know, where you know the block I grew up in Chicago. You know, everybody on my block had a license to snatch me up with my tail if I got out of line, or correct me. You know, at the end of the day, correct me. You know, if I'm wrong. You know, and so getting back to building those extended families, even if we got to do it through holidays, like we used to when all the family used to come together, not necessarily just through church, because, remember we used to go to church, but then after church, the barbecue, all the friends come, all the family come, we potluck and get together that way. But I felt like as a culture, we're losing that essence because, I keep stressing it. I cannot raise my kids alone.
Right.
Not in this world. Not in the world they're growing up in. I'm going to need help as a father. And so I tell Kai, you see my kids out up in the streets, snatch them up. If they're not being, the upstanding men that I hope to raise them as, I can't guarantee that as a father, not today, but I can put my very best into, making sure that happens, or trying to make sure that happens. But I definitely can't do it alone.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to speak for any other fathers. I'm going to speak for me. I cannot raise my kids alone. I need to build those relationships, build that extended family. I don't care if it's a coach. I don't care if it's a friend, getting back to those days of just fellowship, and coming together and breaking bread, even if it's a pizza. We don't got to do it like we do back in the day with the cornbread and the turkey and the cranberry sauce and throw 1,000 pounds of ribs on the grill, even if it's just spending time with one another, getting back to just building those extended families, whether they're blood or not, is something that I would encourage, is the best gift that you can give generationally to your family, because you never know when your kids are going to grow up and, they need a job here or they need a connection here or they need a ride home from somewhere. I want them to have 6 people in their phone that they can call, that would be there for them, not the 1 or 2 people. And they're like, dang, I hope they pick up, and so that's what I would really like for us to get back to as far as, building those extended relationships.
Both of you guys really hit on some really important things that I really wanted to share. But I'm going to take it a little bit different, but, we're still on the same page. I think for me, it's just creating your own generational, your own, what's a way to put it? Like, for example, my mom, traditions. Exactly. That's what I just couldn't think of the word. I'm like going brain dead here for a minute, but traditions. Like my mom, she was always about the cards. We knew the cards were coming, probably 5 of the 6 years I was, staying with them, and my dad wasn't around, I knew my mom was gonna have at least a card, an orange, an apple, and a whole bunch of nuts in in our stockings. I knew it. I knew it. I expected that. And for me, I think with my kids, one of the traditions that I've really worked on trying to do is finding time for us to go out and help the community. Like it's really big for me. Like, I'm doing a feed on the 26th of November where we're gonna, raise money to make, make plates of food to give to less fortunate, people that aren't necessarily able to get those things. And I always every year hit up my daughters, yo, y'all want to go and do it, and at first, it was, Dad, I don't necessarily want to. Now, my 15-year-old, she's always in my ear. So are we gonna go out and feed? We're gonna go and feed this year, and to me, that's exactly what I wanted to see, and I love to see is them wanting to do it instead of me, be like, yeah, let's go and do this. And so creating something of a tradition where we get together and we do something to help somebody else that could really use it. And so for me, that's a big thing. And I notice the more and more that we do it, it's becoming a big thing in their lives as well. So that would be one that I would put out to the people that are watching and listening and that will hear this, down the road. But holidays, they're always great times, and family is everything. And so always remember, love your family. And it doesn't have to be your immediate, like Dre was saying, extended family. Make sure if you see somebody out there that that you have some type of relationship with, and they're going through hard times and they're dealing with the loss, like Kai was saying earlier. I had a friend hit me up this morning, no lie. My friend's kid's father passed away yesterday, and she's mourning the loss of this guy. Even though they're not together, that's somebody that she had created a life with, that she has a history with, and she's mourning the loss of that individual. And so if you see that, make sure you're in that person's ear. Let them know that you care about them. Let them know that if they need somebody to talk to, you're there for them. We got to be there for one another, guys. There's a lot of hardships out here, people going through some really tough times right now. We need to be there for one another. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even if you got a minute of your time, just say hello. How are you doing today? I mean, I got a friend that nearly got killed 3 weeks ago that is flourishing and doing better, but it's a process. And I have been there dealing with it with her because I know that she would do it for me. And so we have to continue to do that for one another. You know what I'm saying? Like, love each other. Even the people that you don't necessarily, want in your circle, you can love them from afar. But just love each other. You know what I'm saying? Let's not put out hate. Let's put out love when we go through things and we're doing things in our community, in our worlds, in our circles. It's just, live love and block out all the negativity and hardships that we continue to see in our world today. So unless you guys got something else to say, you guys want to say something real quick before we roll?
No, man. This is
highlight. Y'all want to highlight
a good conversation. Oh, I think you muted, Dre.
I think he's on. You on a phone call?
I'm up. No. You're fine.
No, I just wanted you guys to let them know a little bit about the podcast, where they can, catch up with you guys, moving forward.
Oh, we do a Black Fathers and Coaches check-in every other Thursday. We'll be on this Thursday as well. You are invited, sir.
Absolutely.
Please come through. We do a mental health check-in just like this. We get into the realms of relationships, being a father, being a husband, being a boyfriend, or spouse, or a mate, or whatever title you would like to use at the time.
Yeah.
But really, pushing ourselves forward. We're not interested in any women bashing on our podcast at all. I think a lot of the social media content out there, it includes that, and I don't think we as men need to do that when it comes to holding ourselves accountable. This is a space for us to really flourish and evolve within ourselves and learn from each other, just like this space as well. So every other Thursday, we'll be right here where you are online, going live.
Cool. Well, appreciate you guys both for being here. Great conversation. Thank you guys so much for spitting that knowledge and insight for the people. And hopefully we can do this again real soon. Coming up next, guys, November 11th, make sure you guys tune in. I'm going to be live with Marquita Evans at her Intentions Juice and Smoothies bar opening out in Seattle. We're going to talk about that and everything else that she has going on. Amazing individual doing amazing things. Also, if anybody is in the area locally or even, outside of Washington and you would like to participate in helping us with our Thanksgiving feed this year, like I said, it's November 26th. We're going to be going out to the community feeding the homeless. We're pushing to feed 100 people. This is our 4th year in a row that we've done it, and every year has been a blessing to continue to get out there and do it, and it just continues to grow. More and more people continue to participate and help out. If you would like to assist or help out with that, you can hit me in my inbox. I get you all the information to either donate or assist with us on November 26th with any cooking that may be done, because y'all know I don't do no cooking. And not on that aspect. I'll cook at home for the kids, but yeah, I ain't doing no 7-course meal. We're gonna be doing ham. We're gonna be doing turkey. We're gonna be doing green bean casserole. We'll be doing sweet potato pie. I think is what else is on the mix. We got a couple other things. I don't have the list right in front of me, but I'll get you all the information if you would like more about that. So we're going to go ahead and close up shop. Thank you guys so much for being here. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you guys November 11th. Take care.
Appreciate it. Buddy. All right. Now.
Peace.
In the ups and downs, you always been around. Is it gonna end like this? Not sure if this is something I'd get past. Funny how forever doesn't last. You made mistakes, I made some too. Can't put it all on you. Who knew love could hurt like this? It'd be easy for me to just walk away, but I remember all the promises we made. We said whatever